Today, I'm going to give some quick updates about what's been going on with me, a little bit about the beta blockers, and also ETS surgery. I'm really not going to give you a lot of info about ETS surgery, but there's something cool in regards to ETS surgery coming up. So stick around and I'll tell you all about it. Everybody, welcome back to Blushing Phoenix. I don't really have, I guess, like a 5 tips thing that I want to talk to you about today, but what I do want to share with you, and I know that some people have brought this up through some of our conversations, is about ETS surgery. So ETS surgery, handy dandy Google here. ETS surgery is endoscopic thoracic, I probably should have done more research on this. Sympathetic. Okay. Let's see how we pronounce this stuff. Hold on. Thoracic sympathectomy. Endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy. That is a mouthful, and that is why we call it ETS. Endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy. Sympathectomy. You know what's funny is that I identify as a writer, and yet I have the hardest time saying words. I'm a great effective communicator, but maybe my vocabulary is very limited. Anyway, it is a minimally invasive procedure that can treat different types of hyperhidrosis, including armpit sweating, sweaty palms, and excessive facial sweating and blushing. So I know there is sometimes controversy around ETS surgery, which is always funny to me about why would there even be controversy around it. If you are a person who deals with excessive sweating, excessive blushing or flushing, and you want to go get that surgery, I don't understand why it would be controversial, why anybody else's opinion matters. If that is what you want to go do, you go do that. There is no judgment here on anyone who is considering this or who has done this surgery. And speaking of who has done this surgery, okay, I'm pulling up Instagram, and Kevin, I just saw a picture of you and your nephew. So cute. Oh, so cute. All right, anyway, I'm videotaping here. I got to get back. A young lady named Virginia May has been very active in speaking about her experience with ETS surgery and her success with the surgery in regards to, I think she had chest flushing going on, and she went and got the surgery, and it has radically transformed her life.
Hey guys, Virginia here. Just giving you all a quick update about my ETS surgery. It's been about 4.5 months now, and everything's still going great. I don't blush still, and although there's been times where I felt like this is a blushing situation, but I would check my phone, get the camera out, and I wasn't blushing. So it's been great. I do sweat a little bit more than normal, which I think I've mentioned. I'm not dripping sweat, so it's not bothersome. I was told that my hands would be dry, and they are.
I did get in contact with Virginia May, and she and I are setting up a time for me to interview her in regards to the surgery. So you all stay tuned, because I'll be asking her questions about her experience and just her experience prior to the surgery itself, and then her experience after the surgery. So I'm super excited about that. We are trying to work out our schedules right now, but once we have that done, we will set up a time to talk, and we have a great, exciting interview coming down the line, my friends. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Okay, I'm looking at, when I was looking at ETS surgery on Google, there is a thing over here that says, how do you permanently cure blushing? And here are the tips that they're giving. 1, breathe deeply and slowly. Taking slow, deep breaths can help relax the body enough to slow down or stop blushing. Okay, this does have some truth to it, so I'm not hating on it completely. However, we all know that does not get rid of it completely. Smile is number 2. Number 3, cool off. Smile, I mean, I understand what smiling does chemically to the body, but that has not worked for me. 3, cool off. A lot of us talk about that because a lot of us deal with the blushing and flushing because we get super hot. So that's a good one. But number 4, make sure you're hydrated. 5, think of something funny. 6, acknowledge the blushing, which is what we're doing here. 7, avoid blushing triggers. Okay. And 8, wear makeup. So if I started a video up and I said, hey guys, I've got 8 tips for you to stop blushing. Deep breath, smile, cool off, make sure you're hydrated, think of something funny, acknowledge the blushing, avoid blushing triggers, and wear makeup. My work is done here, family. So clearly there's some truth in some of these, but we all know this does not work. Anyway, so I really just wanted to turn my camera on because I didn't do a video last week. And for those who hang around, oh, my husband's probably about to open the garage and you're going to hear it. So just so you know, so that you're not distracted, I will go ahead and digress right now. So when you hear the garage open, you'll know what it is. So anyway, I didn't do a video last week. I'm trying to think of why I didn't, but I just didn't. So I figured I would just turn my camera on and have a little chit chat with you guys. I'm really excited about talking to Virginia May in regards to her ETS surgery, and that's coming, but I don't really have great updates about that yet. And then I also wanted to let you all know, and I think this is important for us, especially if you are a person who blushes or flushes, or you have excessive sweating. They're all stemming from the same thing with the overactive nervous system. Or sometimes with some sort of social anxieties and such. And we all know that it's very convoluted and there's all these different things that can contribute to this happening. But really what I've landed with is definitely some mental health sides, but it's also physiological. There's the overactive nervous system pieces of it. And a lot of us have said we don't even feel anxious. We don't feel socially anxious. And then we turn red, and that's what makes us actually feel socially anxious at that point, because we don't want to be judged and all of the things that none of us want. But if you are a person, I'm curious to hear your feedback. Do you identify as an empath? Because I am definitely a person who identifies as an empath. I'm really weird on labels. So I feel like I spent a lot of years labeling myself, and when you label yourself, you really can't identify as anything else, and it doesn't leave you with a lot of room for growth or expansion. And so I have really been in a place before where I'm like, this is who I am, this is how I am, this is all the things. And then I changed my mind a little while later, and I feel like I can't change my mind because I've already claimed all these things. So for me, I don't like the labels, because I feel like the labels are, in a way, they're us giving ourselves an identity that we don't need. We are who we are, and we're going to be evolving. So 2 weeks from now, I am who I am, but it probably is not going to be the same person that I am today, nor do I want it to be the same person that I am today. I'm waiting for the garage. Oh, they're coming through the front door because he doesn't have the garage clicker thing. He lost it. So anyway, I think that as an empath, which, like I said, I don't like to fully identify as these things, but I do identify as an empath. It is a part of me, and let me give you the technical description of what an empath is, according to Google, because Google knows all the things, like 8 tips on how to not blush. An empath is someone who is highly aware of the emotions of those around them to the point of feeling those emotions themselves. Empaths see the world differently than other people. They're keenly aware of others, their pain points, and what they need emotionally. Let's see what else we got. The term empath comes from empathy, which is the ability to understand the experiences and feelings of others outside of your own perspective. Say your friend just lost their dog of 15 years. Empathy is what allows you to understand the level of pain that she is going through, even if you've never lost a beloved pet. So if you identify as somebody like that, like you kind of absorb the energy around you, and even with that, just because you're an empath doesn't mean you have to absorb the energy of others around you. I think people start to adopt, I'm an empath and I was around all this sadness and I just feel so sad. You don't have to absorb it. One of the superpowers of being an empath is that you can actually reposition that energy. You don't have to absorb it, and you can take a time out. And anyway, that's my little rant on being an empath. But if you identify as an empath, I'm curious, because one of the things that I've noticed about many people who flush, specifically on their chest and neck, they identify as an empath. meaning they do feel things on a deeper level. They are so in tune with their emotional selves and the emotions of others around them. So just curious to know. Let me know in the comments below if you identify as an empath. And as you awakened more to yourself and those empathetic magic powers, I like to call them, as you, I guess, became more aware of that. Yes? Who goes there? Hold on. Hi. You did?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
They're listening.
Huh?
They're listening.
You weren't listening?
Mm-hmm.
Come here. Hello. How you feeling?
Good.
So, you got orange because you weren't listening.
Mm.
What do you think happened? What do you think happened? What do you think happened?
I tried to get a good color.
It's just a rough day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What we do, orange is not good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do, don't do that. What we need to do is focus, finish up our night strong, get a good shower, and we'll get into bed early tonight. Okay, we'll go downstairs. Go hang out. Oh, my seat was down a lot further than, so I had moved my camera down, so I had to move my seat down, and normally I can plop into the seat and it gives from the shocks a little bit, but it's actually all the way down and it was pretty solid when I just landed in it. But anyway, life, you know, this is around the time that kids are coming home from school, and well, only one of them is actually in school. My daughter is doing school from home. Our days happen, right? Sometimes we just have days, so they have a color system at school, and it is red. These are the bad ones, red and orange. Yellow is a little questionable in and of itself. Orange is pretty rough. It's pretty rough. And then they start on green, and then they can go up to blue, purple, pink. And today was a rough one for him. Anyway, talking about empathy, I'm curious to know if you, as an empath, if that is what triggers a lot of your redness, and the more you've come into knowing yourself as a person who identifies as an empath, has the redness gotten better or worse for you? Because I've noticed for myself, the redness actually gets worse as the years have gone on, and I've become more in tune with what I call my center of who I am, my knower, me becoming more secure in myself, which is funny because you think that the redness would start to go away, but it actually got worse the more in sync I got with myself and my gifts and the magic of being an empath. Which also teaches me, it's not always on point, obviously, because we've talked about this before, how sometimes it happens and nothing's going on that you know of. But sometimes I do get this sense of, this is not a good situation, something's off with the energy here, and it will make me uncomfortable and then create that fight or flight response inside of my body, which then causes the flushing to happen. So what's really cool is this weekend I'm actually getting away for a 2-day getaway writing retreat where I'm just spending some time alone by myself. I've rented a studio space in the city, and I'm just going to be there by myself with no other priorities besides writing and releasing the creative gifts inside of me that I've just been too busy to get to. And I am eliminating all of my excuses to basically not give myself an out, to sit my ass down somewhere, have some alone time, tap into this side of me that is creative and artistic and speaking at all times, but I just numb it out with housework and work, to be quite honest. So just a little self-care that I am doing for myself. Yes? Hold. I'm getting so interrupted that I don't even know if any of this is going to flow or make sense at all, or be 14 million years long. How am I going to edit all this stuff? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going on a writing retreat for myself to get a lot of the creativity out and about and just pour and empty some of these things out of my body. Does that make sense? Because I feel like what we do is we store this information in our bodies, which we know that to be true, that people can store information in their bodies. That's what happens with trauma. That's what happens in certain responses that physiologically are happening to us, is because of what we store inside of our body. So even your creative gifts are stored inside of your body, and being able to set time aside to push those out is kind of a big deal. So I'm looking forward to it, and a little nervous that I can't make any excuses and I got to take care of business, because we have financially invested into me getting 2 days away from home to be by myself so that I can write. What a great husband I have, by the way, who is fine and suggests that I do that, and gonna be here at the house taking care of the kiddos. What a great guy. So anyway, that is just me checking in with you guys. Oh, and also I do want to let you know, I honestly have not been taking the beta blockers. My company has been working from home since March. We were still going into the office here and there a little bit, I guess once a week, once a month or so. But recently with Corona getting worse, which I don't know if it's ever really not been worse, but it's getting worse. And it's actually hitting closer to our inner circles. Like, people from work are getting it. My brother has it right now. There's our leadership team has said, just don't come to the office at all. So because I haven't had to make those trips into the office, and I've flushed on camera a few times, like on my Zoom calls, but I just don't really see the need of taking that medication if I'm not out and about, or if I'm not super bothered by the redness. And I really haven't been that bothered by it. It got kind of bad last week for some reason, not really stressed out. I think just getting hot. The weather is fluctuating here in Nashville, so it's been like cold and then it gets hot. Like right now it's hot in here and I'm in a sweater. And so let's see, do my flash? Not really, but I'm also not super hot right now. But I haven't been taking the beta blockers because I just don't want to take them if I don't need to. So I think part of my medication regimen and trying to discover the right medication might come at a later time when the world starts to open up a little more, maybe mid-2021, and who knows, maybe 2022 at this point. I have no idea. But I think as we become more in person, again, that's really when I'm going to get that true test of what medication is doing. But as you guys know, you can go back and look at some of my videos about beta blockers, Propranolol. It's been great. I haven't had any problems with it besides some minor side effects. I will say, I don't think I've told you guys this, that a couple of weeks ago I was in the office and I took a half of it, I have 40 milligrams, so I cut them in half, take 20. And it's like my body overrode it completely. It was the first time that had happened. It had been some hours since I took it, but the president of our company, who's the one person who I said, just for some reason, obviously because he's the president of the company, I really like him. I have a great relationship with him. But as soon as I get in a conversation with him, I just want to be approved by him. I want him to not be disappointed in me, and he's not. And yet I have this physiological reaction in front of him. And so he and I had some one-on-one time in the office last time I was in there, which was about 2 weeks ago. And I could just feel it. And luckily I had a high neck shirt on, but I was like, this medication is like obsolete right now. My body is just overtaking this with, we're going to turn red. So that was the first time that I had that medication in my system, that my body full blown had that reaction. And the only thing I could point to was that I did take a lower dosage, and I had taken it probably 4 hours prior to him coming in there and talking to me. So it definitely was not at its strongest. But all that to say, that's really the one thing that I could say about the medication that I'm like, well, that didn't work at all that day. And I could just feel it, throughout that day. But I think when I first took it, those first couple of hours, it wasn't having any reaction or awareness to the redness at all. But by the time he came in, about 4 hours of me being into the office after taking the medication, 100% my body was like, what medication? So anyway, that's just a quick update there. Thank you for dropping in to watch this video and get an update and to see what's coming on the horizon. And I'm curious just to hear, after you've heard me say some of these things, anything that resonates with you or you have feedback about or you want to share your own experience with, I would love for you to leave that information in the comments below. And until my next video, my friends, I'll see you in the next one.